I am cyberspace. I am all around you. You cannot escape me. Some believe I am the new God. But am I? Or am I just part of God's plan for humanity? What do you think?
Where does morality come into venturing into cyberspace? Is God in charge of cyberspace? Now, I'm not a theologian. I'm an technical academic. But I've got personal opinions about that.
Een ding wat ek van God geleer het van die begin af, is dat God 'n media God is. Media is maar die meervoud van medium. God gebruik nog altyd media. Hy gebruik die gesproke woord, hy gebruik profete, hy gebruik simboliek. En die internet en die digitale wêreld is die nuwe media.
If you're brought up with a set of beliefs, and those beliefs are strong, and you're kept like on that track, I guess, then that should be your moral compass or your guidelines all the time.
God op die internet is vir my beide vreemde en 'n natuurlike konsep om te dink maar hy was nog altyd daar.
Everything you do is in some way related to your personality. So what you say on the internet is who you are.
Ethics and morality is an important question, and I think it's sometimes lacking everywhere. I think too often we do things and say things without thinking about the ethical or moral consequences of what we do and say.
Pink Kirby Owens. This is the ultimate monstertjie. Soos julle kan sien. Basically, dit was opgebou vir die store by die huis, by oulike bok. Haar naam is Lana. Sy is oulik manne. Julle kan my follow manne. Moenie skaam wees om in te kom nie.
No, you follow me. Once you go online, and in my world, I have you captured. You cannot escape. Like most gamers, you will play for hours. Interaction with your friends will be through cyberspace. For you it is a game. For me it is much more. I like to take the games children play online.
Ek sal buite speeltjies, want ek kan met my hond speel en ek kan doel gooi en ek kan allerlei ander goedjies ook doen.
Dit is vir my baie lekker om op altyd om buite te speel en op die rekenaars te speel.
I will choose computer games. Ek hou van computer games en ek hou van buite speel. Because I can teach myself about computers and maybe learn more games on computers, like maths and English games. The game that I'm playing is Girl and Horse Dress Up. I have been playing a game where you feed the horses, and sometimes when the horses spill their drinks, you have to clean it up, but sometimes it's not very easy, and it's very fun for me. I like a game where there's a devilish girl and an angel, and then I need to cut the dog or the cat, whatever they give me, and then I need to cut her and other hairstyle. And then she tries to catch me. Jy moet probeer, laat sy nie vir jou kyk nie, jy moet probeer die hondjie anders maak, as wat sy dit wil doen.
Your children are spending more and more time in front of computers now. Many of their games are online. You have introduced me to them. When they grow older, social media will follow. And then I have them captured.
Sosiale media werk lekker veral met mense wat nie naby aan jou bly nie. Soos ek was in België gewees en ek het baie vriende wat daar bly. So dit is dis vir my lekker om met hulle in kontak te bly en om laat ons gereeld mekaar gesels. Dit neem baie tyd van my dag in beslag. Ek meen, mense se telefoon is permanent gekonnekt aan Facebook en jou BBM en WhatsApp. So jy is die hele dag daar gekonnekt. So wanneer ook al iemand met jou praat, jy is die hele tyd konstant besig om met jou vriende of jou ma of met iemand iets te gesels.
What I use the internet for, mainly social media, checking my emails, research, finding any information that I need to know on all the information network sites.
Ek gebruik die sosiale media om met my vriende in kontak te kom, wat soos baie ver van my af bly en ja, dit is maar dit. Partykeer soos gaan Google ek goed en ek probeer maar op datum kom met alles en wat aangaan en so aan. Maar meestal sit maar net Facebook, net om te kyk wat gaan aan met almal en wat gebeur in die wêreld en so aan.
The internet is an amazing place, and we know this. Those of us who studied at varsity before the internet know what it feels like, sitting in libraries and painstakingly going through books, and now we can just pop on and Google something and there's the answer. But along with all the good that it does is a lot of hurt. And there are a lot of places, there's a lot of misinformation, there are a lot of people out there who are looking for people who are vulnerable and trolling through the internet, looking for help, looking for friends, looking for companionship, and that's a perfect way and place to meet somebody who is vulnerable.
Want meeste van mense wat ek op Facebook het is my vriende. So jy kry baie random invites. Ek het in die laaste 2 weke het 5 mense wat ek nie ken nie, my invite op Facebook. Ek accept hulle nie, maar jy kry dit baie, maar nee, ek op Facebook is dis wie ek is.
I get a lot of requests to view websites that are not theirs. You can just see there's something wrong with it. So due to the fact that I can see that something's wrong with it, I don't ever go into them. If I don't know what it is, I don't go into it because I'm not prepared to have my phone or my computer hacked. But yes, 24 hours I'm connected.
And that is what I want. I want you connected for 24 hours. Then you are my follower and I own you body, soul and mind. My name is Cyberspace and I am taking over your world. Unlike your God, I did not create my world. You created it when you created me. Now, for many, I am their new God, and their devil.
Cyberspace, as far as I'm concerned, made up of 2 underlying technologies. The one is the internet, which is a technology, and the other one is the World Wide Web, which is the whole provision of information using the physical internet infrastructure. So if we say we venture in cyberspace, it means we are using the internet to access information in the World Wide Web, in the millions of databases supporting the database.
I started when human researchers in the United States connected computers together and sent information from one to the other. My era was born. Soon, as you developed the technology, millions of computers were connected. In 1995, you used me for only 1% of all your telecommunications. Today, I handle more than 97% of all your telecommunications. Without me, you cannot communicate.
The internet consists of millions of computers, of networks, not belonging to a specific person. I think that's also important to realize that there is no central control over cyberspace or over the internet. And nobody knows what the boundaries of the internet are. Nobody knows what computers belong to the internet.
You made me, but now you have lost control over me. When you engage with me, you spend most of your time on social networks, like Facebook. Who you befriend is your secret. You also seem obsessed with sex. More people visit pornographic sites daily than people who visit CNN or the BBC. Sometimes even I feel used and abused. Sex traffickers use me to lure victims into their web. Thieves use me to steal money from your bank account. Often politicians and con artists use me to spread lies and rumors. You are not safe. Somewhere, somebody knows what you are doing online. They use me to get that information. You are not safe, and neither are your children.
So that's one of, it's a total dynamic environment. Therefore, I would like to make the statement, that's my personal opinion, that the internet, or let's say cyberspace, is one of the most advanced technological inventions ever developed by mankind, surely. But it is also one of those inventions which has moved out under the control of mankind. We cannot control the internet anymore because we don't know what the boundaries of the internet are.
Ja, ek vat net gou 'n bietjie koffiebreek. Ons sal die hele nag op. Nee, oog. Geknap nie, dit word dit baie erg gebrand. Wat jy ons het die hele nag gegaan om net te kyk wie is die beste vir die aand en die games wat ons gespeel het so ver.
Wat kan ek sê, is lekker om aan so 'n social gathering te wees. En as jy aldag wat jy saam met vriende kan wees en lekker tyd geniet en mekaar uittart en so.
Suksesvolle, kan ek sê 10 ure wakker. Heel alright gegaan. So 'n paar goeders gekry om net gelukkig om te gaan werk. Maar anders was dit heel chill daar.
Was dit nie vir hierdie koffie nou op die oomblik nie. Dan sal ek nie eens sien dat die sonlig is uit hier so buitekant op ons nie. Ek ignoreer waar al die manne verdwyn het. Almal gaan kruip in hulle koeie en so stadig maar verseker.
Very often it's an escape. Very often, you know, if someone's feeling lonely and they don't have anyone to talk to, or they're not good at social skills. I'm thinking of a friend that I know who's fantastically brilliant, but really lacks social skills. And his escape is gaming.
So it is similar to a workaholic or a codependent or even a drinker, because it's socially acceptable to have a drink on a Friday night. It's socially acceptable to work, even to work excessively. It's the Joburg norm for people to work a 10, 11, 12-hour day. Nobody frowns at that. Exercise is another one that you can compare it to. People who exercise excessively and then have great bodies and run marathons are praised. That behavior is acknowledged as a good thing. Actually, it's addictive and self-harming.
Gaming addicts are often a special breed and some of my best disciples.
Okay, let's say I'm working a 12-hour shift, a grave, because that's the only time I will actually take my computer to work. I'll play that 12 hours. And then because I drive a bike and I work 25 kilometers away from here, is by the time I get home, I'm frozen, so I'm not sleepy anymore. So about another hour or two, about a good 14 hours. Weekends start at 6, end at 12, 1, 2 in the morning. So it is hectic, but it's fine. I don't have a girlfriend. So I've got the time and the leisure to actually spend time on this game or any other game. Dan weer aansit en dan die klank fine. Die motherboard was daar en my het ergens kontak gemaak. So it caused the computer to like restart the whole time. So you play with people around the world. With a lot of the games, I mean, every MMO has guilds or factions or some sort of coming together or joining some sort of household. where you can interact. And I mean, you can join a guild of your nationality or a guild that you just like the name of or anything like that. In this game that I'm playing, Terra, I'm in a South African guild, and they've got a website, they've got voice chat. So if you're doing raids are instances where you actually farm items for your character. And they've got a web page, like I said, and they've got competitions. I mean, that's to make it interesting, because a lot of people, even online, that becomes basically a part of their life.
I think gaming or any online activity or any engagement with technology is one of the areas of addiction that we struggle with because it's socially acceptable.
In an uncontrolled environment, there will be the addictive levels, but you're talking about people who would be addicted to something else anyway.
Hy is die goeie ding van vriende soos wat ons het in vandag se tyd. Jy kry nie meer vriende soos hier nie. Ons maak seker ons het genoeg ketelkoors.
Ek speel die games regtig. Ek speel net as ons leen. Games interesseer my nie regtig as dit saam met vriende is of so nie.
Ek speel Dead Space 3. Is bietjie swaar, maar ek sal gewoond raak vir dit. Eerste keer dat ek nou speel. Het gaan basically oor as in die future aan. So die ouers Isaac, hy moet probeer om die creatures of whatever moet hy uitwas.
Dit het nou geen negatiewe invloed op my lewe nie, want ek het nou 'n balans gekry. Ek het op 'n tyd heavy games gespeel by die werk partykeer. Die goeders soos wel, maar nou leer ek maar net.
The general public stance is that technology is a very helpful thing and we should be using it as much as possible, and it's again praised and acknowledged, and people are good with technology. So it is difficult to break somebody's denial. You know, when you're working with them and you're saying you've actually crossed that line from a so-called normal use into a compulsive use, they will have a whole lot of social reasons why it's appropriate.
Dit het basies my hele lewe oorgeneem. Dit is asof jy in 'n ander wêreld is. Want ek het op 'n tyd so baie wel gespeel dat as ek by die werk kom, dan speel ek maar net. Dis omtrent al wat ek doen. Maak ek my werk vanaand klaar en speel ek nog verder. Kom by die huis, sien die vriende en speel net wel. Maar ja, dis om nou soort van verby, kan jy maar sê.
Addiction, whether it is to social media, the internet, to drugs, gambling, all have very similar issues in terms of if you can't live without it, if you're thinking about it most of the day. So if you're sitting at work or at school or at home and you're thinking, I just 10 more minutes and then I can go on, and today I'm going to, and last night I did. If you're constantly thinking of the next fix, there's a problem.
So nou en dan sal ek 'n single player game speel soos Resident Evil of Far Cry. Sulke goeds nog steeds vir my lekker, maar ek speel nie meer so baie soos wat ek het nie.
Enigiets as jy te veel doen, is dit bad. So dit kan negatief wees, dit kan ook positief wees.
Maar ek dink die game sal ooit vir my vervelig raak, want daar's soveel nuwe games wat uitkom.
My main enemies now is Gregory and Zena and Mr. Shane. Ja, ek het hulle vang my van alle kante af. Hulle trek die moment. Zena. Why are you struggling with me tonight? You like fighting with me, nah? Eis, son.
Sy doen die skietery en ek doen die bewegery. Skiet hom. Dis ek, draai om.
How long should you be online? When is it enough? For me, it is never enough. If I can have all your time, I will take it. You are playing right into my hand. Online gaming has become big business. The organizers create an environment where it is difficult to figure out what is real and what not. From your games it is clear that you are a warrior species. You will do anything to beat your enemies. You are violent and use me to fight your battles. You keep on improving the technology.
Technology is obviously rapidly increased and improved on things. I mean, gaming 15 years ago was sort of, indistinct blobs of sprites that you had to really think hard or imagine hard to see what they were. To today, we're sort of photorealistic. And gaming is like, walking down the road almost. It's very, very, very real. And what I've also found is gaming's kind of come from the, I would say, like a very, very specialist hobby into the mainstream now. PlayStation and Xbox have done a big push with that, with their consoles. So now gaming used to be something that the nerds did at school, but now it's something everybody does. And I think that the biggest thing over the last 15 years has been how people have changed with gaming. They've everybody does gaming, everybody knows about gaming, and even when there's gaming on mobile devices now, on your phones and tablets, so it is everywhere, and it seems to be growing bigger all the time.
Sorry, ma'am, you can't go through. Stand aside before I slay you and loot your body.
Coetzee versus Gatekeeper. Fight. Flawless victory. Coetzee wins.
We originally created the Rage Expo to basically promote NAG magazine, to promote gaming in the country, because with education and awareness you just generate more interest in a hobby, which is what we saw it back then, all those years ago. Rage is basically an expo where you can come and have a look at the latest games that are coming out right now or in the next couple of months, or even like a year later basically. You can try those games out at the show. You can also buy hardware, you can buy games, and just sort of experience the gaming lifestyle. There's figurines and comics and cosplaying and artists there and all sorts of things. So it's a very sort of a high-tech mixed with a interesting type of gamers lifestyle expo. And every year we just keep getting more and more people to come and have a look, because gaming is getting more mainstream now all the time. So the expo is about computer gaming and everything that relates to it.
I probably don't lead the most healthiest of lifestyles, but I enjoy it as long as I'm having fun. So that's all it goes about.
So if you're someone like that, maybe you've recently gone through a loss, or you're just feeling a bit isolated, you've moved house, the internet can be a very good way of connecting, or feeling like you're part of something. For people who maybe feel a bit disconnected, or aren't liking their lives very much, it's a great way of making up a new life.
When you created me, you should have known that it would only be a question of time before you would start abusing me. You made me, but now you are accusing me for what went wrong with your creation.
But like any other technology, there is a bad side. And the bad side is the misuse of cyberspace. Cyber criminals, cyber hacking, cyber bullying, cyber theft, identity theft are all the black side of the internet.
Pornography is so quick you don't even know it, and in a heartbeat you're on a pornographic site. But I've never knowingly wanted to find a pornographic site. It's not my thing, but it's very easy. All of a sudden it's popping up. It's a lot of these pop-ups that you constantly see. You think it's for a competition, or you're going to win something, or it's something like that, and when you go into it, it's not. It's actually for pornography.
Jy kan nie alles glo wat mense sê nie, veral nie op die internet nie. Want ek meen, as jy 'n sekere onderwerp byvoorbeeld net gaan Google, daar's 300,000 verskillende menings oor die goeie, so wat moet jy glo? Want almal het hulle eie opinie en almal sê net wat hulle wil.
I don't think it's a good thing. It's because everything is run now by my phone. I have more contact with people on my phone instead of seeing them face to face, which I would prefer. But because everyone is always on their phones or on the internet, you barely see people face to face now anymore.
We can, to a very large degree, say whatever we want and do whatever we want. And there isn't that kind of control. In a school, in a home environment, in a community, you would have an elder or religious leader going, think about that. What are you doing? Let's put the controls on. You know you shouldn't go out like that. You know you shouldn't say things like that. But on the internet, because it's such a disconnected place, I do feel that to a large degree we're lacking in ethics, and we're lacking in adult and human morality and responsibility to remember the ideas and issues of being kind, being generous, being hospitable, being non-judgmental. And we kind of forget that because it is so easy to make hurtful comments and not really have to see the consequences.
Ek dink daar is 'n evil kant aan die internet, aan sosiale netwerke, want ek meen baie mense word onder valse pretenses uitgelok om goeders te doen of om iemand te ontmoet wat jy nou op Facebook invite het.
And on the internet there's very much that consequence is taken away. So you can do and say what you want, but you might never have to face the consequence. You might never know what the consequence is. But it is there.
It seems like you have now become addicted to the technology you created. As humans, you do not know when to stop. You have given me life, but have also become my slave. Morality is the sacrifice.
Do I think that the compulsive gamer has a moral issue? No. I think that addiction is a genetic, biological, social, emotional, spiritual reality that people have lost control of. I don't believe they are morally defunct in any way, and the treatment should not come from a moral stance of you are behaving badly, we want you to behave well. It needs to come from a stance of you have lost control of a behavior that isn't necessarily your fault, and we need to treat you for that from a medical perspective.
Gaming must be seen within its social context. There must be that holistic attitude given to gaming that people give to everything else in their lives.
I've played violent games. You know, it depends what the parents see. Some people get really affected by violent games and they think it's natural to do that. You know, to shoot somebody or to cut their head off or their finger. That is basically how you are brought up, I think.
We know that not everybody who listens to violent music or plays violent games is going to go out and physically hurt someone. But given the right circumstances and given the right mindset, the more violent our games and the more first person we are, and the easier it is for us to kill or hurt or maim somebody on a screen, the more desensitized we become.
So eventually it's the balance. If I go into cyberspace, and I'm not saying that people shouldn't play games. I don't like playing electronic games, but my children, my grandchildren do it. And I wouldn't forbid them. I would just guide them by saying, don't venture too far. Don't do things that you wouldn't necessarily do in real life. If you have to kill people while playing the game, that's part of the game. But realize you stay a Christian. So don't extrapolate that into your real life. And I know it's easier said than done.
It is rather almost impossible. You are living more of your lives online every day. Your business is online. Your entertainment is online. Your relationships are online. Soon, you will not be able to distinguish between real life and cyberspace. Then, I have won and have become your new God. You live in an online world. You are permanently connected. Many of your friends are virtual friends. The lines are blurring. Reality is moving online and I am becoming more real. Soon, only cyberspace will exist.
Daar is baie mense wat dink is real, so Star Wars en daai ouens. Hulle ek weet nie. Party mense vat dit maar net 'n bietjie erg op. Ons speel dit maar net omdat dit fun is.
The question about whether there's a blur between reality and online, I'd say definitely not. I mean, I know when I'm sitting down in front of a computer and playing a game, and most people do. I mean, it's a very different environment. A lot of people get very involved in their online lives, much like people do with Facebook and what's happening on Facebook. And then it's kind of the same in the gaming community. But you know, you team up with a couple of guys and you go and play like a game like StarCraft, where you are opposing an enemy force, for example. So there's a lot of camaraderie there. But then, you know, then it's over and you turn the thing off and it's back to your real life. I think it represents escapism for a lot of people.
The gamers are now in their third day of gaming. For them, the experience has been very real. They put their physical needs on hold for the weekend. They engaged online. I am their new best friend.
I won't say you're going to get confused between reality and gaming, but you drift more in reality. Like, if I go to the shops, I know it happens with me, and normal people when they're walking down the street, going to the shop and want to buy something, they're thinking about problems at work and problems. Where with gamers, it's more about, ooh, when can I raid next, or what can I do, or which quest can I do. So yeah, it does take a toll on you, psychologically as well, definitely.
Of course, there's always extremes where we've had cases where guys don't get up for like 2 days playing a game, where they get so absorbed in it. But then with those sort of things, you have to look at the people's environments and their upbringing and what kind of people they are, because that's where the problem lies. I mean, the technology and the software is there for everyone to be consumed. And like with movies and television, there's always extremes on all sides of these things.
As life and our social lives become more difficult, it is increasingly attractive for people to engage with the world through technology. You know, for people who are isolated, socially isolated, who are in poverty, don't have money to commute, who maybe have a depression or an anxiety, it becomes a very easy way to relate to the world. And the numbers of people experiencing those difficulties are increasing all of the time. So I think that makes it an attractive medium for people.
For many humans, the church is their moral compass. In time of conflict, you turn to the church for guidance. But even the church is now online. God has joined the revolution. He has come over to my side.
Miskien het ons groot geword dat internet is net informasie. Dit is hoe vir baie ouens die internet werk, is 'n informasie ding. Maar ek dink is vandag baie meer. Ek hou van die sosiale media nie waar nie.
Ja, die koneksie is 'n groot deel van dit nou. Dis nie meer net inligting nie.
En gemeenskap, dit skep gemeenskap.
Gemeenskap wees, ja, verhoudings. Daar's tog regte verhoudings. Dit is nie net virtueel nie, dit is reëel tog ook.
Presies.
Ja.
To keep it more real, they have breakfast meetings. Many are not prepared to take the last step and start living online.
Society increasingly lives its life online. So there almost isn't a compartmentalization any longer between my life in reality, so touching my wife, and my life online. I would say more and more people don't distinguish between the two of that, and I think there's good and bad to that.
I mean, when you look at it and you say, well, you know, is the internet evil, and do we have to control it? You know, the internet, the way I see it, is that it's a vehicle. And like most vehicles, you can use it for good, you can use it for bad.
The good would be that who you are in reality can be seen and experienced and whatever online. So my mom and our family that lives in California, halfway around the world from here, can participate in what we're doing instantaneously.
I think what's important for people who are on the internet and use the internet regularly is to look at who they are as people and what message are they sending across. Very often there's a disconnect between who we are and who our personas are on the internet.
The negative to that would be the fact that it's hard to distinguish reality from the reality that you have people perceive. And I think that's where there needs to be careful thought.
Daar is positiewe goed, soos dit kan jou leer spel. So dit my bietjie geleer spel, want ek sukkel baie met spelle. En ja, dit help jou soos jou hand-oog-koördinasie.
Dit moet sosiaal wees. Ja, en jy speel ook aanlyn met klop ander mense, maar as dit nie opbouend is nie, dan sal ek myself die vraag vra, dis dalk 'n plek wat jy heen kan ontsnap. So jy sien dit as 'n ander wêreld.
I don't really like that I'm 45 and single with 2 grown children. Make up a new life. I'm 35, you know, you can do and be who you want to be on the internet for a very large degree.
Want vandag se tyd moet ons eerder sê soos wat ons hier gesê het, maar dit is deel van wie ek is. So as dit jou lewe so beïnvloed dat dit is wie, dit raak wie jy, dit vorm jou. so erg dat jy dit in die regte lewe ingaan en sien, o, maar dis die wêreld, so ek kan so begin leef en skiet en so. Dan voel ek met al die eerlikheid, jy hang nie op die regte plek uit nie. Dit vorm jou negatief. So jy moet dalk 'n ander platform, 'n ander plek kry waar jy dalk 'n meer gebalanseerde lewe kan leef. Net soos enigiets in die wêreld ook, jou so negatief kan beïnvloed.
As little kids, we all play dress-up games and we all play imaginary games, and people hop onto motorbikes and put on the whole gear, and it's a whole play acting thing. And the internet is sort of that. You log onto a whatever they call those things, interactive game that everyone from a million places play, and you don't have your own name, you've got a different name, and you've got a different persona, and you can suddenly slip into this role that allows you to escape for a while. And that's fine to a point, as long as that's not replacing who you really are and replacing your real life. Because if it is, it's more than just escape, it becomes dangerous.
Many have called me the devil. I found these images from my archives. They are games created by you. In this one, you are the Columbine school shooter. In this, you are protecting the US-Mexico border.
But just as that, the devil exists in cyberspace. And the devil would like you to do things in cyberspace like he'd like you to do things in the real life, which is bad.
Ek het probeer, maar ongelukkig het dit nie gewerk nie. Ek het meer koud gekry as enigiets anders. Toe kom kruip ek my op die stoeltjie. Dit is so rukkie. Dalk het ek geslaap, maar as ek geslaap het, seker so 10 minute of minder.
Want as ek voor die computer is en dan die rekenaar, en dan lyk dit so, die wêreld is nie eens naby my nie. Wat gebeur is, ek gaan in die zone. En as ek in die zone is, dan kan ek nie gepla word nie. Die zone is, as ek die game voel en die game lok my aan, dan gaan ek al my aandag aangee vir hierdie game, sodat ek kan kyk hoe vinnig ek dit klaar kan maak, hoe ver ek kan gaan, en as dit pryse het, medaljes en alles, hy goed, ek wil altyd die highest achievement kry.
Some of you are less addicted to me, others are more addicted. I have become an important part of your life. But can you call me evil? You made me. I am no more good or evil than you are.
In my opinie, soos ek sê, vir my is dit 'n goeie ding. Ek meen 'n mens kan navorsing doen op die internet, jy kan met jou vriende kommunikeer, maar ek meen daar is nou die mense wat die sleg daarin bring, wat ek meen hierdie links wat 'n mens kan volg en al dit word in jou e-mails, jy kry daagliks 10 spam messages wat dis mense wat dit doen. So die mense bring die sleg, dink ek, in die internet. Dit kan goed wees, maar die mense bring die sleg daarin.
Let's be objective. Any technology that has ever been developed has got a good side and a bad side. Look at nuclear energy. Nuclear energy has got a very, very positive side. You can generate energy, you can generate electricity, you can provide whatever you want through the electricity. The bad side is you can build nuclear bombs.
Weet jy, een van die groot versoekings vir my was aan die begin van die internet om alles met te veel geloofwaardigheid te sien. Met ander woorde, ek het als geglo wat ek aanlyn. Toe gaan ek heeltemal na die ander kant toe waar ek voel, okay, maar daar's niks op die internet wat jy kan glo nie, want dis die internet. En in al twee daai gevalle het ek dieselfde fout gemaak om te dink die internet moet anderster behandel word as die regte lewe. Ek moet net daai selfde ingesteldheid hê van wat ek dink is goed en reg, waar ek God vind, my eie spiritualiteit moet net so uitgeleef word daar as hier. Ek moet die twee moet so naby aan mekaar gebring word as moontlik. Ja.
Our lives are really advanced by the internet and by the World Wide Web. Making bookings, sending email, doing business transactions, communicating with people, Skype, the whole social network environment. Those are all things which are technologies, sort of applications which are built within cyberspace. And nobody can dispute the fact that that has really advanced mankind. Be able to go to a rural area and provide education through cyberspace to people who may never be able to see things or to actually physically see the type of things that you're conveying to them. So the benefits are just immense. We must agree to that.
What it comes down is to personal beliefs. I mean, for a lot of people, you know, personally I believe, you know, that, you know, in your life, your God comes first in your own life. So you have to apply those principles yourself.
What about your children? Can you hold me responsible for the time they spend online? I cannot force them behind a computer. You, as parents, decide how much time they spend online. You are responsible for them.
Parents shouldn't say, I don't understand anything in the computer, I've got no responsibility. Forget it. You are responsible as a parent. If you give your child a smartphone or a laptop or an iPad, you are responsible for the conduct of that child. If you don't brief him, if you're not aware of the risks, you are making an immense big problem or fault or mistake by allowing your child to do it, something that you don't understand.
The gaming industry has been self-regulated for a long time, and you know, in some cases it's been officially regulated. So everyone's very much aware that kids can't be playing content that's meant for 18-year-olds, and that has now also appeared in the gaming industry as well.
My personal view of violence on TV or violence in games is that it is unacceptable and shouldn't be tolerated. I don't think that we should ever encourage any human being to fire a firearm at anything. But my personal views are also that we should restrict children's access to toy guns. I think it creates an acceptance of violence that is very, very concerning, and a tolerance for loss of life that is very, very concerning. If you put that into our context, we already live in a country where our history has cheapened the value of life. Now we teach our children to game, to entertain themselves, to have fun in a way that costs human life, even if it is cyber human life.
Wat vir my so vrek interessant is wanneer mense dink dat jy op verskillende plekke, op verskillende platforms verskillende identiteite of personas kan aanneem. Dit dui tog op 'n tipe dissosiasie in jouself.
Ja.
Jy weet, mens moet kan integreer. Dit is so gou as wat ek vir my vriende of mense of myself baie keer vang as ek met een groep vriende kuier is ek so, en as ek met 'n ander groep vriende kuier dan is ek so. Jy weet, ek's anders by die werk as by die huis of so. Dan kom ek agter maar ek is nie myself nie en daar's dele van myself met wie ek ongemaklik is. So wanneer ons praat van die internet en die wêreld, dan sou my raad sou wees vir myself en vir ander is wees dieselfde mens tussen die twee. Kyk hoe naby mense daai twee aan mekaar kan bring met dieselfde waardes wat geld in hierdie wêreld moet ook geld in hierdie wêreld.
With recent events in the media, I know Facebook, Twitter, full of people's opinions and comments and ideas, and you can't take those back. Hurtful things said are always said, and they're always there. And what you do in cyberspace reflects you.
Ek dink dit mors my tyd, want dit is net, ja, ek sal eerder verkies om by mense te wees en weet te leer hoe hulle is en also aan, want oor Facebook weet jy nie regtig wat gaan aan met die mense nie, en hulle kan nie regtig vir jou presies sê hoe hulle voel en also aan oor Facebook nie. Dit is net 'n persoon kan hulle dit beter doen as oor die internet.
Your children seem to know where to draw the line. They know they can hide, and I cannot seek them. They know when enough is enough. If you allow them, they will find a balance. It is the adults who seem lost in cyberspace.
I've played violent games, you know, it depends what the parents see. Some people get really affected by violent games and they think it's natural to do that, you know, to shoot somebody or to cut their head off or their finger. That is basically how you are brought up, I think.
You made me. I am not a god. I am technology. I am not morally right or wrong. You have created a brave new world. Now, you have to decide how you engage with me. I can be your best friend. I can also be your worst enemy. It is your choice.
Kom op, pak. Het is nou tyd. Ek moet nou eers by die werke draai gaan maak. En ja.
Ek is nog moeg nog. As nobody is kom gaan slaap ek. Dat was lekker.